Thank you for joining us, everyone. We are here this week with another Panhandle Legend, and this month it is my absolute honor to introduce Joe Fortenberry as our Panhandle Legend for the month of February. Joining us today is his son, Oliver Fortenberry, to tell us some wonderful stories about his dad, who he is accredited with the first recorded slam dunk in the history of basketball, and also a gold medalist in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, which, you know, we'll get to that in a little bit, but was filled with some crazy history. Am I right, guys? And also joining us from sports is Corrin Davis. So we will just learn a little bit more about your amazing dad. Oliver, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. It's my favorite story is my dad.
Absolutely.
I'll tell it as much as anybody can stand.
Well, we're here to listen to it again today, and we were happy to have you here. So tell us about Joseph Cephas Fortenberry.
Well, he is a local legend, and when I grew up, he was a known legend.
Right.
People have been forgetting about him, but when I grew up, we'd go downtown and people would just go, hi, Joe, hi, Joe. Everybody knew him.
Yeah.
And I'd ask him, well, who was that? And he'd say, I don't know.
Right.
but he was nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was just a humble guy from Happy, Texas that went to WT and wound up changing basketball history, although he's not given enough credit for that.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about that and about the 1936 Olympics.
Well, the 1936 Olympics was in Berlin, Germany. They call it the Hitler Olympics.
Yeah.
It was very controversial. Some people didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the basketball players, they were just a bunch of country boys mostly. They didn't know. They just wanted to go play basketball. The team was made up of half the Universal Studios basketball players and half of the McPherson Globe Refiner people.
Uh-huh.
So they combined them and sent that team. They didn't, the companies didn't support them. They said, if you go, you don't have it, we won't hold your job for it.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of the Depression. But they wanted to go, and they had to pay their own way to get to New York. Once they got to New York, then the Olympics would take care of them. But just picture in the middle of the Depression, 2 Model A's full of giant basketball players, cutting across gravel roads to get to New York.
Right, right.
So once they were there, then they got on the USS Manhattan, and they lived it up. They gained 5 to 15 pounds apiece on the way over there because they'd never eaten so well.
That's funny. And so, from what I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they won the gold medal, not the whole team didn't get a medal because they sent extra players. Am I right?
Well, the powers that be, the Olympic rules, they said only the players that played in the gold medal game got medals. So half of the team didn't get medals, and they protested, and I don't know, after so many weeks they reminted some and they got them in the mail, but it was a sore point with them forever because they felt they should have been in the playoff game in anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't know that for a long time. I found out that from a guy named Rich Hughes who wrote a book called Netting Out Basketball, which is the encyclopedia of the first Olympic basketball games.
Really?
He knows more than anybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he really started the ball rolling on resurrecting interest in my dad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, you said the refinery was so opposed to him going.
Well, they weren't opposed. They just weren't going to sponsor the team to go.
But he said, they said if you go, you're not going to come back and have a job. So it was very important to him to go if it meant not having a job.
And his teammates.
Yeah.
Well, they had, a couple of them decided they didn't want to go. They had families and they didn't want to take the risk. So when they did get back from the Olympics, they didn't have a job. But
why was it so important for him knowing what was on the line?
Loved basketball. If he had had a family, I doubt if he would have gone. If he had a family and kids, but he was just a single.
How old was he
guy.
then?
He was born in 1911, so he was 25.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you know, 25. Just think about 25-year-old single pro athlete now.
You sacrifice it.
Yeah,
You do the thing.
I'm going to play basketball.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in that game, the final score of that gold medal game was 19-8. Am I right?
19-8.
And how many points did your dad score?
He scored 8 points.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
It was 18-9.
Okay, 18-9. Okay.
And Pop scored 8 points, and then he played 2 games. They were only going to play 5, and we got to buy the first game. I believe it was because Spain got a bye because of Franco or something like that.
Okay.
Politics.
Yeah, of course, always.
So the team from Universal Studios played 2 games, and then my dad's team played 2 games, and my dad scored 21 points in the first game. So he was wound up being the high scorer for the entire tournament. And back then, you think, well, how could these scores be so low? Of course, the 19-8 was because they played out in a rainstorm on a muddy court. But they scheduled the games for every hour. They had a live clock. They didn't, unless you called timeout, the clock ran.
Okay.
So I'd like to see a team now score 100 points with a live clock.
Right.
So especially with the defense being so good these days.
Yeah. And his team, the McPherson team, that coach, they invented the fast break and the full court press.
Wow.
So they were the most innovative team to come along since basketball started.
Did your dad ever mention, when you think of outdoor sports, you never think of basketball, and they played those games at the Olympics outdoors, muddy, in the elements. Did he ever mention the struggles that came with that, adding a new barrier in the game?
Well, yeah, it was only the final game that was wet. The rest of it was fine. And they had played outdoors. I mean, kids play outdoors all the time, but not when it's raining in mud. He said, yeah, it put it into question whether you could beat Canada or not, even though you felt you were a better team under those conditions. Who knows what? I believe the score was 15-4 or something in the first half, and then they just kind of held on to the ball. And I think Pop also invented goaltending. I don't know when they changed the rule. They don't give him credit for that. I think they give Mikan the credit for that goaltending rule. But hey, my dad was doing it when he was still a little kid.
Wow. And the first mobile big guy in basketball.
Oh, yeah, in basketball. My dad was not just a giant guy that stood there. He was an athlete. He was an end on the WT football team. And I read one thing in an old WT annual that said they won the game and Joe Fortenberry drug 2 or 3 guys into the end zone with him.
Wow.
So
nothing stopping him.
No, absolutely not.
No. So he also ran track. He ran hurdles. He threw the discus. He threw the shot put. And he boxed.
Oh, wow.
And there's a great story. He was a bare knuckle boxer. Back in the day, each little town would have their own champion boxer. And in the late 20s, Pop was 19 or 20 or something like that. The boxer from Clayton came down with a whole bunch of people from Clayton. Imagine how long it took to drive from Clayton to Happy
right.
on dirt roads.
Yeah.
And they all parked their cars in a circle in a dry playa lake south of Happy, or north of Happy anyway. And they're waiting for Pop to show up. And the Clayton boxer is dissing Pop, saying he's a chicken, blah, blah, blah. So just picture out in the setting sun, here comes a Model A and a little dust cloud, and drives up and stops, and that's my dad, and he starts to get out, and that Clayton guy tries to hit him before he's even out of the car. My dad still got his right foot in the car, has the door open, swings with his left, knocks the guy out, and says, send my share of the money to my mom, and then he drives off.
See, that's legendary in of itself.
That is
Why aren't
amazing.
they telling that story everywhere?
Right. So we never even got all the way out of the car, knocked the guy out.
Boom.
That's about
He
right.
was a freak physical specimen. He was 6'7". I know people are bigger now, but his hands were the largest hands I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
enormous. He would shake a woman's hand like this.
Right. Because he just would have
Swallowed
taken
it.
them all up. Yeah.
And a lot of men's hands too.
I love it. That's great.
I didn't get all of his size. My mom was 5'3",
Wow.
and petite. So I'm just this mishmash of.
Wow, I would have loved to see the two of them standing
Well,
together.
I've got pictures.
Yeah, I would need to see that.
I've got the wedding picture is great.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that it is.
And she was a local girl from Hereford.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And did they meet in high school?
No, they met later on, and
That's right. Yeah, because he was a single man at 25. That's
yeah,
right.
after the war, he was a scout that was basically a spy for an oil company. You'd just go around looking for what other oil companies were doing. They called them scouts.
Well, he's not discreet at all.
I know, yeah.
Right.
But he worked for
6'7".
Phillips 66, and my mother was a secretary at Gulf Oil. So they would come to, you'd go to the Gulf office and see what you could figure out from there, and Gulf people would go to. So she saw this, and he was, he was famous back then. So
Yeah.
he would come in. Of course, she saw him, and so that's kind of how they met.
Starry-eyed.
They were both ready to start a family. By then, he's been married. He was 36, and she was 26.
Yeah. And so the 36 Olympics, he came back, and then what? You've read that 2 years later he went to the war, right?
Yeah, it was crazy to think about.
It wasn't 2 years.
3 years.
Okay.
No,
Three.
it was more.
The war started 3 years later.
Yeah, but he went in 42.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically officially started, in December of 41, but he finished that basketball season, and then he went in. So he played with Phillips for 6 years
Okay.
and won the national championship with Phillips in 1940, and the McPherson team had won it in 36.
Wow. Yep. What I find so interesting is, those 1936 games were huge from a global standpoint because those in power in Germany at the time were using it as propaganda, as a way to overshadow their regime. And then 3 years later, we look up and World War II has begun.
Oh, yeah.
Did your dad ever mention that he felt tension while he was there? Of course, people wanted to boycott the games here in the United States.
He said, as soon as we were over there, said, well, we'll be fighting these people any time now.
Wow.
The Olympic Village was built. It was built for officers, and they always had a Nazi officer with them,
Wow.
or soldier. He said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be fighting these people."
Didn't you mention the other day that your dad was here
Yeah,
to Hitler?
Yeah, he could have jumped him then. He said he wished he had, but
Right, that
That hook. Just gotten him right there.
it's gotten him right there. Yeah, but he really didn't talk about it unless you pried it out of him. He was more proud of being from Happy, Texas, and playing at WT than
Love it.
anything.
Yeah.
Love it.
He was, Happy was his hometown to him, and everybody in Happy knew him and appreciated him, and they still do. That just not many left that actually knew him.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
And the McPherson people in McPherson, Kansas, they still celebrate that team.
Yeah.
They have made murals all over downtown of them, and they have made a documentary about him, and we went up there and saw it, and they have a giant, I guess you call it bass or bas relief statue of the whole team that's, I don't know, 12 feet tall and 20 feet long.
Oh, wow.
And they installed that. Oh, it was during COVID. We went up for the installation with our masks on, and it's in front of the original gym that Pop and his team played in, and they've refurbished that, and it's still used as a gymnasium, and
wow,
it's like stepping back in time to go in there.
I bet. And so he has been inducted into the Amateur Basketball Hall of Fame, but not the Naismith, right?
He's been not the amateur even.
Okay.
There was a Helms Hall of Fame that
Okay.
used to be a big deal, and then that was before the Naismith.
Okay.
He was in that, and he was the very first one in our local Panhandle Hall of Fame. But he's not in the Naismith, and I don't know why.
he should be. We're advocating for that right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Let's start
Yes.
the campaign
We're starting a
immediately.
petition.
It's
You
been
signed
going. This Rich Hughes has been trying to get the Olympic team in. He thought that would be easier than just getting Pop, but he's been trying for 10 years
Wow.
or more. And we just thought it was a matter of time. You take your turn, but
Yeah.
you keep seeing these other people or other teams go in on their first or second try, and I don't like it. But maybe someday.
Your dad was a trailblazer in the game of basketball for so many reasons. I think about the slam dunk. You know, he did it, got recognized nationally for it. You look at the evolution of it now. It is one of the most highly anticipated, exciting parts of a basketball game.
Yeah.
You have the NBA slam dunk contest. What do you think your dad would say today about the evolution of the move he invented?
He might say, "Good golly." That was about his favorite thing to say. Good golly, no matter how good or bad it was. But they didn't use it a whole lot in games. They did it more to intimidate in warm-ups. And he dunked it in a game once at WT, and his coach said, "Joe, don't do that again. It's not elegant. It's not part of the game."
Wow.
So he didn't do it a bunch in college. He did it in practice and stuff.
You would think a coach would be excited about an athlete being
Absolutely.
able to make moves like that.
And intimidation.
Absolutely.
But that was the way it was. But then once he was playing, amateur AAU, then they said, "Sure, whatever you want to do." And other players on his team could do it. And also there were players on his WT team that could do it once they saw him do it. A guy named Comer and a guy named Colvin. They were the WT team was Pop was 6'7", and I think Comer and Colvin were 6'6" and 6'5". So everybody was over 6 feet. WT was the original tallest team in the world.
Wow.
And then the McPherson team promotes themselves as that too.
Interesting.
And his WT team went to the NIT. I don't know, they didn't win it, but they were there with the big boys for a while.
Go Buffs.
Go
That's
Buffs.
right.
Go
Yeah.
Buffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so after that Olympics, is it right that Japan called for a ban on players over 6'2", or wanted to try to get a ban?
Well, when they got there, what would be the
Or
FIBA, which
Yeah.
they saw you're too tall. We want to ban you over 6'2" or 6'4".
Yeah.
Anyway, but they at least got that out of the way.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't slam dunk on people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know officially if he dunked in the Olympics or not.
I'm curious what his thoughts were because for 9 years, from 1967 to 1976, the slam dunk was prohibited.
Oh, he
It
thought
was
that was stupid.
okay.
Yeah.
He just thought, oh, that's ridiculous.
Because it's crazy to think about because it's
Yeah.
such a huge part of the game.
Yeah, when I was in high school, you couldn't do it. You couldn't even do it in warm-ups or you'd get in trouble.
Wow.
And of course, when Pop was dunking, you didn't have the breakaway rims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just tear things up if you really slam dunk. That was even before you had glass.
I was about to say,
Some of
they
them
didn't
were-
have glass back then. so-
I'm not sure when the glass came about, but a lot of it was, metal or boards. So he did talk about. I think he said is it WT or in high school that they liked playing at Tulia because Tulia didn't have a complete gymnasium, but they had the walls, so at least the wind was broke.
Wow.
So they had to play a lot of times outdoors when he was young. So playing outdoors didn't bother him until it rained.
Wow.
And that ball got muddy and
Yeah.
hard to. And you were saying earlier about they at that point too in the game, they didn't pass the ball. I mean, they didn't dribble the ball, right?
Well, they couldn't because it was too muddy. And before that,
Oh,
they were good.
okay.
They were
Okay.
good dribblers.
That's
They
what it
could
was.
have.
Okay.
And they talk about 3-point shot. Well, back when he was playing, he said our guards they might shoot as soon as they cross the half court line, a two-handed set shot, and he said they'd hit half of them. I don't know why they didn't shoot more, but they just would pass it more and pass it more.
Keep things interesting, open up the offense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And he was when he played with Happy High School, they were called the Happy Jacks. Did you know that?
I did
didn't
not know
know
that.
that.
They were not the Happy Cowboys?
Nope, they were the Happy Jacks. It was a mule.
No, okay. Okay.
Happy Jacks.
Yeah. I don't know when they changed to the Cowboys.
I kind of like that name though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man, we should make shirts.
We should make
The Happy
shirts.
Jacks.
The Happy Jacks.
Yes.
And I'll go cover a happy basketball
Yeah.
game.
Yes,
Happy Jacks.
yeah.
Someone might notice it.
You're right. Or
There's
be-
somebody in the
What?
stands that'll notice
And
it.
my,
I bet we could find
one
a
of his
little
sisters,
mascot.
my Aunt Lonas, she was almost 6 feet tall, and she played girls basketball at Happy. She's about 6 or 7 years younger. She just towered over all the girls back then too. Of course, they did the. You had 2 down here and 2 down here, and then you had a rover. You didn't play 5-on-5.
It's crazy how the game has changed
Yeah.
drastically.
Well, I think
Yeah.
they
Over
thought
years.
girls couldn't stand
Have the
strain.
stamina to do
Yeah,
it.
I just-
Yes.
It pretty
Certainly
crazy,
do.
some
Yeah,
crazy
certainly
stuff.
do have the stamina to do it.
And they didn't have, that's, and the little schools were the only ones that had girls basketball. Like my sister went to Tascosa, they didn't, I think they had tennis and golf. That was it for girls in the 60s.
Wow.
She was a dancer though, so
She didn't care.
no.
She didn't care at all.
She's still a dancer. She's 77 and teaches tap dancing.
Oh, I
That's
love it.
fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
cool.
She's gonna come give us lessons.
She is.
At least one.
Well,
Until
On
I
Studio
hurt my
4?
knee, until I'm gonna hurt something. I'm gonna hurt
if
something.
she comes in the spring, I'll tell her.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, what's one last thing you want to leave the Panhandle with of your dad's legacy?
Well, don't let him fade away.
Okay. Well, this is
Yeah.
going to be evergreen and live here forever, and we will bring him back up whenever we have the opportunity. We will let him live on.
Well, old Putt Powell, do you ever remember him? Was that before you? He was a sports reporter at the Globe
at the
News.
newspaper,
Yeah.
yes.
He was Pop's biggest fan, and he brought him up. And he tried to get him in the Hall of Fame too,
Well, that's
years ago.
Corrin and I's goal now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good.
Okay, we're
All
gonna
right.
do that. We're gonna do that, and we'll revisit him again at the next Summer Olympics that will be
Okay.
here, or not here, but
LA.
in the United States.
It's in L.A.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
LA. Maybe we should go.
We should go.
Maybe that'll be the time he gets in the Hall of Fame.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I also have one more question I'm curious about. What do you hope kids from the Texas Panhandle can take away from your dad's story? He's a guy from small town USA with dreams as big as the world and made an international impact in the history of the game of basketball. What do you hope kids, athletes from this area can take away from that while they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life and have these big goals?
Well, if a farm boy that was, when he was 8 years old, he was plowing with one horse, can go to the Olympics, so can you. I made up a little saying for him. Who'd have thunk a boy from Happy could invent the dunk?
Love it. Mic drop.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's going on the back of our shirts too.
Yeah. On the Happy Jack.
Well, that is a great way to end this conversation.
All right.
Thank you so much, Oliver, for coming in today and sharing your dad with us and with the world and with the Panhandle. And we hope you'll come back soon.
Medal?
Well, yeah, we want to see the medal.
Real quick.
The shiny thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, jeez. Oh, shut the building down. You had it all stashed away in your pocket. I didn't know you brought it. I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah.
Is this something that you will pass down to your children as well?
Well, my nieces and nephews.
Your nieces and nephews.
Yeah. Whatever they want. I don't want to try to control it. If they want to do something else with it.
I hope
Well,
they
we
keep it
can
in the
just-
family.
Wow. That is so cool. Let me take another
Love
look at
it.
that bad boy. Man. That's amazing. That is amazing. That is really cool history right there. And I guess we're not finished. We're just going to keep on going. So I watched your episode of Auntie's Roadshow.
Oh, yeah.
And they said that there's only 2 that are left, right? And one had a hole in it?
Oh no, there's plenty out there.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Well, on that show, it was.
they-
I mean, that's the only they had only seen 2.
Yeah, they had
Okay.
seen another one, and it had been used as a necklace.
Okay. Well.
And as far as I know, I've seen 3.
Okay. Okay.
When we went to McPherson for that dedication, 2 of the other people
Okay.
it brought them.
Okay.
I'm pretty good friends with a lady named Connie Schweer, whose father was named Schmidt. He was actually an inch taller than my dad.
Wow.
And they had his, and then another guy, Gene Johnson. We had the Johnson medal,
Okay.
and so the other ones could be out. I did talk to one of the. There was a guy named Lubin who played for Universal Studios, and I did finally contact his daughter. She's got one. He's the one that when he played for Universal Studios, they would make him up to look like Frankenstein, and he would come out and warm up like Frankenstein. And
I remember you telling me about
and
that.
I've got some pictures of him.
That's funny.
He was big. He was about an inch shorter, but heavier than my dad.
Yeah.
Pop said he couldn't jump, but if you couldn't move him once he got under the basket.
Right. He was under there.
He was a big guy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good. Well, Oliver, thank you so much, and we would love to have you back some other time because I'm sure we could do this
Oh, yeah.
for a long time.
We
Yep.
could.
Okay.
I have more stories.
I'm sure that you do. I'm sure that you do. You guys, thanks for joining us, and go to myhighplains.com to check out our little spot about Joe Fortenberry.